Everyone, good evening. So this is just a pop-up live, no notification or anything, but I posted earlier that there was an express entry draw today. So I'm just here to give you a little bit of analytics because I was analyzing the scores. Hello Munchkin, my favorite girl just joined the live. So good evening again. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Haveli and I'm from the beautiful island of Jamaica, and I live here in Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada. Yes, Ophelia, I'm here to give you the scoop on the analytics because I was like, what does this mean? So this is a pop-up live, of course, and I'm just going to tell you briefly what I think, and this is my personal opinion. I think the recent draw meant for those people who are waiting in the pool. Don't be despondent. Your day is coming. For those persons who got selected, congratulations. The score is still a bit high, but it is lower than the last draw, which was 2 weeks ago. So the government gave invitation to 1,750 persons to apply for their permanent residence. Yes, that's a small amount of people compared to what was given prior to COVID or the lockdown, which was like 4,000, 4,500 people. I think at one point it went up to about 4,750 or 4,800. So what I have concluded is that, again, most of these people are either already in Canada or they're outside of Canada, but they have Canadian experience, Canadian education, and or they received a job offer. So the score today, the minimum cutoff score was 542, and sometimes I get the numbers wrong because I would be like 524. Please forgive me if I get it wrong. I know I'm correct this time. It's 542, and the tie break rule applied from December 30th of last year. I've explained in my previous post what the tie break rule is. It's basically if two candidates enter the pool at the same time, it is the person who entered first that will get precedence. So if John and Tom entered on the same day with the same score, let's say their score is 542, and they entered on or before December 30th, 2021, then John will have been selected instead of Tom. So that's how the tiebreak rule works. So 542, still high, but we're expecting that to go lower, even lower. So since the last time I spoke to you guys, there were like 226,000 people overall waiting for selection by the government. That's quite, yes. The early bird will catch the worm or the caterpillar, whatever the case is. So yeah, it's important that if you're interested in moving, then you get going and you get your profile in the pool ASAP, because these numbers are not going to stay low, guaranteed. They will not stay low. So since the last time, about 14,000 people entered the pool. 14,000, because I checked, it was 226,000. Now we're at like 239,800 or thereabouts. I don't remember the exact figure, but it's really close to 240,000 people. And based on my analytics, people with scores over 600 points, there were only 580 people who had scores higher than 600 points. And if you've been listening to me carefully, you will know that if you get a job offer, that's automatically 600 points, in addition to whatever points you get for your age, your education, your work experience, and your age, education, language proficiency. Yeah, those are the four main categories that are used. So 580 people only have above 600 points. Sounds good. Above 500 points, 500 to 600 points, there are only 9,101 persons, which means from the most recent draw, which had 1,750 people, let's just say 1,300. I don't know, my math is off today. Let me just calculate that. Yeah, 1,170 people were selected in the category of 500 to 600 points. Now that means that about 8,000 people remaining. As I said earlier, the government used to give like 4,500 invitations every 2 weeks. So if they were keeping up with those numbers, then everybody above 500 points would have been out of the pool. And that's a good thing. But here's where it gets a little tricky, because the next cohort has about 58,000 people. Actually, it's increased. When I checked last week, it was 58,000 people. This week it's a little bit more. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, my apologies. It was 58,000, now it's like 62,000 people. So we're talking about 62,000 people between point standing 451 and 500. I think that's the largest cohort. That's like about 20% of the overall amount if we're thinking there are 240,000 people waiting to be selected. Now, if you take Heavily, for example, I had like 475 points. That was 3 years ago. Had I been in the pool, would I have been selected? No. So if I wasn't going to be selected and you're waiting to be selected, then you know you still have hopes, because I was selected 3 years ago with the same point standing between 450 to 500. So if you know my background, my age, all my human capital factors, you would know that if we're in a similar position, then chances are after those 8,000 people remaining above 600 points have been selected, then the possibility exists that you could be selected. But it also depends on how many points you have. So I would have been midway between 450 and 500 because I had 475 points. But even though I have relatives here, which I did not remember, they are not first degree relatives. I didn't have any brother or sister, mother, father, step parent, grandparent, etc. So that didn't count towards my point standing. If I had a sibling here, I would have been like 490 points total. But that was 3 years ago. I've had 3 birthdays since I've been in Canada, 3. So I would have lost the 15 points. So, you know, I would still be at like 475 if I had a relative. The fact that I didn't have a relative, I would be like probably about 460 right now. And for those people who have been asking me, do you think I should start? Do you think I should start? What do you think? Because my next birthday, I will have lost 5 more points because obviously I'm above age 29. But the point I'm trying to make here is that they are going to select those 8,000 people eventually, and then they're going to move to the next cohort. Even though there are 60,000 people, there are people who have been in the pool for a year or more. Their profile's gonna expire. They will have to do a new profile. People are always going in and out of the express entry pool because of several factors. The profile expire, a birthday come and they lose certain amount of points, and they go in again, but they don't have as many points as those new people coming in. Other factors could include, I said birthday, you lose, and if your language test expires, because it does expire after 2 years from the date in which on which you get the result. So people are always going in and out, but it seems as if more people are coming in, because in the space of 2 weeks, 14,000 people entered the pool. 14,000. That's quite a lot compared to the 1,700 people that they just gave an invitation. So my encouragement to you is to not be despondent. Your day is coming. Just be a little proactive and just stay tuned. You can do your own reading. You can do your own research. Everything we need to know, the Government of Canada don't really keep anything secret. It's there on the Government of Canada website. Or if you are unsure, of course, you can send me a general questions. I answer only general questions. And I have quite a number of people who have joined the live. I'm so sorry, guys, I didn't acknowledge you because I'm here chatting my head off. But welcome to the live. And if you have any questions, you may go ahead and drop it in the chat. Hi, Roxanne. Roxanne, I recognize you. Roxanne was one of my colleagues when I was an intern at the University Hospital in Kingston. And Karine was in my cohort. Yeah, so as my friend said earlier, the early bird catches the most worm. So if you are interested, or you know somebody who's interested, me coming on live is not to tell you to have an interest in coming to Canada. I'm here to say if you're interested and you're unsure how, or if you're stuck, you can always reach out to me. And I have to acknowledge my friend Trudy. Trudy and I went to high school together, and we actually lived in the same area. And Trudy's always on my lives. Big up yourself, Trudy. Yeah, so that's my breakdown based on what transpired today. And I'm hoping and praying that next 2 weeks we will have a better draw. But because there is still a backlog, 2.4 million, it was the last 2 weeks. They haven't given any updates. I don't know if that 2.4 has increased. So I hope they employ more people and get those profiles going so that people can get to come here. The people want to come here and get going with their lives. And yeah, that's it. That's it for today. That's all I will be talking about. That's my 2 cents. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. And since I have no questions here, I don't know, my audience, apparently they just love to hear me speak, because ain't nobody asking questions until I get off. I get the questions coming in my DM. And guys, I cannot always answer your messages. Sometimes I batch them, and I'm going to get into the habit of always batching the messages, so you might not get a response as soon as you'd expect. But when you come on the live, feel free, make use of the opportunity to ask a question that I can answer immediately. Yeah, so since I have no questions, I hope that information helped, and we're looking forward to more of us being here. The more the merrier. We want a big, bright, vibrant community of Caribbean people, Jamaican people. And I mean, if you come and you don't like it, you can always go back home. But if you come and you love it, you can stay. And then after 3 years, you can always go back home or go wherever you want to go. Because, hey, hint, hint. Next year I become eligible. I can't believe that the time has gone by so quickly. Like by next year, I'm eligible to apply for my citizenship. It's not like my friend over in the US who has to wait for 5 years. It's only 3 years here. Alrighty, so again, this was just a pop-up live. I'm gonna save the live, and don't forget to ask your questions and also do your own research. That's always the best way, to do your own research. And then when you're uncertain about that, then you can get someone to shed perspective on that for you. So until the next live, which is going to be on Sunday, I'm just usually I do lives on Sunday. So I'm saying on Sunday, like today wasn't planned. This is just a pop-up live based on the fact that there was an express entry draw today. But it's likely that my next live will be on Sunday. So I will catch you all then. Thank you so much for joining in, and stay tuned for more information. All right. Have a good evening, guys. Bye.